Well, hello, my name is Morgan Alford. I'm with the lovely Beverly Sharpe, Miss Sharpe, our principal at Mount Juliet High School. And this is an interview for Youth Leadership Wilson asking about leadership characteristics. So I'd like to start with, can you just introduce yourself, who you are, and what you do?
My name is Beverly Sharpe, and I am the principal at Mount Juliet High School in Mount Juliet, Tennessee.
All right. And I guess I'd want to start off, anyone can say that they're a leader and be in a leadership position, but what makes you an active leader? Why do you choose to be a leader?
That is a good question. I do feel like that I have recognized leadership characteristics in myself since I was your age, and others supported that in me by electing me to different positions through high school and in college. And so 17 years ago when Mr. Brown approached me and asked me had I considered being an assistant principal, I said, not really, but I'll think about it. And the next day he came back and asked, have you decided? And I realized that stepping into leadership at the school level, every teacher in our building is already a leader in the classroom. And so stepping into a role in administration, just a wider audience.
A wider audience. So you'd say you wanted to spread your impact?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As a leader, how are you working to create the change you want to see in the community?
I don't think any change happens. I don't think any effective change happens one person top down. So to create change in our community, first of all, there are lots of things that have to change one person at a time. And then also collaboration. We have student leadership that I collaborate with often. We have a faculty leadership team that I meet with monthly to get input, and that is a two-way conversation. That is administration talking to teachers about things that we think are good ideas or things that we've heard that might need to be addressed, and then we're listening for them to tell us, what are you hearing? What are you feeling? What's the pulse out there in the building? Same thing with student leadership. I constantly get wonderful ideas from student leaders, like you. But I like, it's collaborative, 100%.
What is your strongest leadership trait, would you say?
Okay, so actually, as an assistant principal, all the administrators in our district go through a strengths finders survey. And some of my strengths are, my number one strength is empathy. And other leadership strengths that I have are, I'm an achiever, which means that I'm competitive. I'm a learner, that's another strength. And let me think, what is, harmony is another strength that I have. So those are, and I try to lean into my strengths. Yes, there are areas that I need to work on, but I find that if I lean into the areas where I'm strong and then surround myself with people who are strong in the areas where I am not strong, that's where I get the biggest bang for my buck as a leader.
How do you engage with younger audiences? Being in a high school, that's like the biggest probably skill you need to have. So
I agree 100%. That probably is the most important skill that you need. If you do not enjoy working with young people, you do not belong in a high school, and that is the truth. So I've grown up with 17, 18-year-olds. I started this when I was barely ahead of them at age, how old was I? Let's see here, let me think for a minute. Okay, 22. I was 22 when I came into education, so just a few years older, and I find that never having taken a break from being with young people, I think has helped me to stay current. Then there are times when some young person will say or do something, and I realize, yes, I am 2 generations removed from this person. I know that I'm not young. But I also know that I love young people very much. and I believe in young people very much. Many have heard me say often, you are not the future leaders of America, you are the current leaders of America. And what you can become, you are already. I wish off the top of my head I knew the author of that quote because it's one of my favorites, but I do believe that everything that you can be is already inside you, and I do not take my job lightly. The worst thing I could possibly do is say words or act in a way that would make a young person not realize their potential because they have it. So I don't even know if I answered your question. Can we circle back? What was the question?
It was, how do you engage with younger audiences?
Okay. So with all of that being said, I'm not afraid to talk to young people. I am not afraid of the information they share. That was a new mantra that I picked up a couple of years ago, which is I will not fear information. And sometimes young people have different views than I do, but you connect to them by listening and being interested in hearing their views. If I can't see something from a young person's perspective, I'm in the wrong job at Mount Juliet High School.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. What advice would you give to future generations of young leaders?
Wow. What advice would I give to future generations of young leaders? Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. One of my favorite sports commentators is Charles Barkley. Love Charles Barkley so much. And I remember in an interview once he said that when he first became a commentator, he was trying to say the right things, saying the things that people wanted to hear to connect well with the audience. And it didn't take him long to realize no matter what I say, some people are going to agree with me and some people are not going to agree with me. So if that's the case, might as well just go ahead and say what I'm thinking anyway. Future leaders, that's what I say to you. Don't try to conform into what you think a leader might need to look like. Be the leader that you are. Be yourself.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you for having this interview with me, Ms. Sharpe. This is wonderful.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.